How's it going, everyone? It's Artifact, and today I'm going to show you how I made this little creeping, rolling, like slowly filtering up kind of nasty, dutty vibe bass line, which is sort of an evolution of one of the ones I was doing before, the snowbound one, but I've changed a few things in the patch, and this time I'm going to show you a little bit of my sort of creative post-processing stuff that I've done to it. So this is a tune I'm currently working on. I think it's going to be my next Patreon exclusive tune, so definitely check that out if you ever want to support. You can join from €1 per month, and you get like a new song every month, and it helps me to pay for my eggs and bread. So this is the bass we're going to be looking at in this little loop here. So this is kind of like the second 16 of this track, and I didn't know where to go with it in this part, and I went back to the intro, and I found this sound in the intro which I really liked, which was this sound. So I'd copied it over into like the second 16 on the drop, so you can hear it here. If I just mute the other basses. So I thought I wanted to make like a bass to go along with that, like a slow, like building up kind of sound, that kind of classic, slow creeping LFO filter shizer. So I went back to this old patch on Vital, this snowbound one, and I basically just slowed it down a hell of a lot more to made it simpler. So let's go into the patch. So we have the original oscillator, which is chorus, compressor, distortion, simple patch. So this is it. I typed in a text to wave. It was snowy, but you can hear, it's just a very simple kind of vocal wavetable, nothing crazy. And then the second one, if we look, it's kind of like a sine wave from Basic Shapes with a bit of smearing, and that's going up on the LFO. We only have one LFO, and it's a very, very slow speed. It's like a 8 bars per thing overall, and I've mapped a lot of stuff to it, so everything's just going up slowly. And to get the right desired effect in the end, I just like play with the start position, so obviously that changes where the modulation is starting, and just like moving the line up and down until I found like the kind of character that I wanted to hear. So this is then being F frequency modulated. This is frequency modulating the first oscillator. This one's going into this one. So that's obviously what's giving it that main like growly feature, the frequency modulation, which I always talk about, And then the third one here, this is just a wow, or something. I don't know what exactly what this wavetable is, but obviously you can see here it's Vital sine. The smear is like a spectral morphing, is making that kind of weird shape. If I just try and bring it back, you can see how the difference. Yeah, so at the beginning it's more sort of sine wavy, smooth wavetable, and then we've really turned it up to create this. Yeah, it's more like how you describe like spectral stuff. It's like lots of different. It's not just a clean wave anymore. It's like very, very digitalized, and that's giving that like high end, complex, textural stuff. And then that's actually being frequency modulated also by this main sine in the middle. So they're kind of, this is modulating that one and that one together. They all blend together. Slight bit of detuning just to keep it a little bit off the exact pitching, makes a little bit of a difference. Yeah, so this smear thing is just kind of coming back, and then we have here a bit of smearing going on that's going up, and then Yeah, that's kind of the main modulations there. With a bit of sort of filtering, just notching. That's also on the same one LFO, just to create a little bit of a filter movement. So it's very simple patch. It's just like slow moving, everything's going together, and then it's the same with the chorus. The chorus starts at sort of 0, and then we just turn up the mix a bit. So at the beginning it's like more centralized, and towards the end of the sound it becomes a bit chorusy. So we get that like from big middle to wide kind of effect. And then same thing with the compressor. Were you to have the mix on full, it would be like really loud and crunchy, and I've left it a little bit low, and then the mix is being automated up with the LFO, so it starts off a little bit sort of tamed back, and then it gradually gets more and more aggressive sound from the compressor as we go through the note. So that brings the intensity up as the note draws out. And then some distortion. Doing the same thing. We've got the drive and we're modulating the drive, so at the beginning it's just a bit of distortion and it gets more distorted as the sound goes on. Yeah, and then that was the patch I was happy with, but obviously I was tweaking this, you know. So there it would start like almost too aggressively, but back down here it's kind of a nice starting point for me. Could also make another one and start a bit lower like this. That also sounds pretty good. But anyway, yeah, that was the setting I settled for. So there's a lot of movement going on in the overall bass, and there's a few extra things that I've done here. For example, I have chopped out a little gap where this percussion hit comes in the drums. You can hear that like this. And then I've just done a bit of filtering as a kind of notch filtering, and it's at 1/4 notes. But I'm actually automating the mix to come up as the note progresses, so at the beginning there's no filtering, and then as we go out it gets more and more movement in the sound. And I've done the same thing with the LFO tool, so this is just shaping the volume, and at the beginning it's not on, but as the sound goes out the effect comes up, and this time it's at 1/8 notes, so it's a bit of a faster movement, but it's cutting out some volume, and this allows for the other sample, which is, you know, not the bass. I mean this sound here. It allows for this to be heard a bit more towards the end of the kind of section. So it's a lot of like kind of different little movements that keep that one long held note interesting. So that's a little tip for that. And then what I did then was I made another little version here. Of a few more different and cool effects. But that's basically this kind of little patch for today. So I hope that's a little helpful tip for you. And yeah, if we just listen one more time to the whole thing. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This song will be released on Patreon soon if you want to support. And yeah, I hope you have a wicked day. Peace out.